In the distant galaxy of Andromeda, the Vulca Dominion, a civilization known for its relentless pursuit of power, stood at the height of its influence. Their fleets were the largest, their weapons the most destructive, and their emperor Xerus the Conqueror had ambitions that reached beyond the stars. After his predecessor's sudden demise, Xerus ascended to the throne, inheriting an empire that spanned thousands of star systems and controlled billions of lives. But Xerus was not content with what he had. He sought to expand the Vulca Dominion further, to make it the greatest empire the universe had ever seen. His eyes turned to the neighboring galaxies, where ancient and powerful civilizations such as the Trari Confederation and the Zephan Alliance reigned supreme. These were societies that had known peace for millennia, their fleets vast and their technologies unmatched. Xerus launched a series of calculated attacks, sending his battle fleets into the heart of these ancient empires. The Trari and Xians, accustomed to their traditional methods of warfare, honorable duels and strategic withdrawals, were unprepared for the sheer brutality of the Vulca assault. The Vulca fleets did not engage in battles of honor, they annihilated their enemies without mercy, leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. It was during one of these campaigns that the Vulca Dominion encountered the small and seemingly insignificant Terran Union, a loose coalition of human-inhabited worlds in the Orion arm of the Milky Way. The Vulca Command did not even deem it necessary to inform Emperor Xerus of their discovery. A minor fleet was dispatched to bring the Terran into the fold. However, the humans were unlike any enemy the Vulca had faced before. Where other species would have surrendered after the first overwhelming defeat, the Terran fought back with a ferocity that shocked their enemies. They did not adhere to the traditional rules of engagement. Instead, they waged war with a singular determination to survive at any cost. The first Vulca fleet was destroyed in a surprise ambush at the edge of Terran space. The humans, utilizing guerrilla tactics and exploiting every weakness in the Vulca fleet, managed to outmaneuver and outgun their opponents. The news of the defeat spread like wildfire across the Vulca Dominion, and Xerus himself was forced to take notice. Xerus ordered a full-scale invasion of Terran space, determined to crush the upstart humans. But the Terran had learned from their encounters with the Vulca. They abandoned their traditional defenses, scattering their forces across multiple star systems, and fought a war of attrition. They sacrificed entire worlds to buy time, retreating when necessary only to strike back harder when the Vulca least expected it. As the war dragged on, it became clear that the Vulca Dominion was facing an enemy that could not be easily defeated. The Terran's resilience inspired other oppressed species across the galaxy to rise up against their Vulca overlords. Rebellions erupted in the farthest reaches of the Dominion, further stretching the Vulca's resources. The final battle came when the combined forces of the Terran and their newfound allies, the liberated Xerian and Trari, launched a massive assault on the Vulca capital world. The once invincible fleets of the Vulca Dominion, worn down by years of constant warfare, were overwhelmed by the sheer determination and numbers of the coalition. Emperor Xerus, the once proud conqueror, was captured and brought before a war tribunal. As he stood trial, facing charges of genocide and war crimes, he could not understand how the Terran had managed to defy him. In his final moments, he asked the Terran commander who led the assault, "Why did you fight so hard? Why not submit like the others?" The Terran commander, his voice cold and resolute, replied, "Because submission is the death of freedom. We fight not just for our survival, but for the survival of hope, for the right to choose our destiny. So long as one human remains, we will never submit." Xerus spent the rest of his days in a prison on Terra Nova, the new capital of the United Terran Republic. From his cell, he watched as the lights of the liberated worlds grew brighter each night, a constant reminder of his defeat. The era of the Vulca Dominion was over, and in its place, a new age of freedom and unity had begun. Years passed after the fall of the Vulca Dominion, and the galaxy entered a fragile peace under the leadership of the United Terran Republic, UTR. The once divided human worlds were now united under a single banner, driven by the shared memories of their near annihilation and the relentless fight for survival. But peace, as always, was fleeting. In the shadows of the galaxy, remnants of the Vulca loyalists, known as the Children of Xerus, plotted their return to power. They had retreated to the outer reaches of Andromeda, where they licked their wounds and rebuilt their forces in secret. Though their numbers were small, their hatred for humanity burned with an intensity that eclipsed even the fires of war that had once ravaged the stars. The children of Xerus were led by a mysterious figure known only as the Dark Regent, a cunning strategist who had served as Xerus's right hand during the height of the Vulca dominion. The Regent was a master of subterfuge, and under his leadership, the children infiltrated key systems across the galaxy, spreading chaos and dissent within the UTR and its allied factions. Meanwhile, on the UTR's capital world of Terra Nova, the government faced internal struggles. The very unity that had helped humanity prevail in war was now fracturing in peace. Old rivalries resurfaced, and debates raged in the Terran Senate about the direction the Republic should take. Some called for expansion, others for isolation, and many feared the potential return of a new external threat. The warnings of a Vulca resurgence were largely dismissed as paranoia by the Senate, but the military, led by Admiral Marcus Tyr, remained vigilant. Tyr, a veteran of the Krog War and a hero of the Battle of Vulca Prime, was one of the few who believed that the children of Xerus were a real and present danger. He had spent years gathering intelligence, following every lead, and preparing for what he saw as the inevitable clash. One day, a series of coordinated attacks rocked the galaxy. Key communication hubs were destroyed, vital trade routes were blockaded by unknown forces, and several border colonies were wiped out in brutal assaults. The children of Xerus revealed themselves, declaring the start of a new war, one of vengeance against the UTR and all its allies. The Dark Regent broadcast a message to the galaxy, declaring, "You thought you could destroy us, but we are the heirs to Xerus's legacy. We will rise from the ashes of the Dominion and bring humanity to its knees. For every Vulca life lost, we will take 100 in return. We will not rest until the last Terran world burns." Panic spread across the UTR. The Senate, unprepared and divided, scrambled to respond to the crisis. Admiral Tyr took command of the situation, rallying the UTR fleets and calling upon the Terran worlds to prepare for total war once more. But the galaxy had changed. The allies who had fought alongside humanity in the Krog War were now hesitant to join the fight again, weary of conflict and uncertain about the Republic's future. In the midst of this chaos, a young officer named Commander Arara Vose rose to prominence. Vose was a prodigy known for her brilliance in strategy and her unyielding resolve. She had grown up hearing the stories of humanity's triumphs and struggles. Triumph over the Vulca Dominion was a significant achievement, and Commander Arara Vose was determined to ensure that the Republic would not fall in her lifetime. Admiral Tyr saw in her the potential to lead and gave her command of a task force with a critical mission, to find the Dark Regent and end the threat of the children of Xerus once and for all. Commander Vose led her task force on a relentless hunt across the galaxy, from the icy moons of the Perseus Arm to the scorching deserts of the Sagittarius Cluster. Along the way, she encountered remnants of the old Dominion, shattered but still dangerous, as well as new allies who had risen from the ashes of the old order. Each battle brought her closer to the Dark Regent, but also revealed the true scope of his plans. The Regent was not merely seeking revenge, he was looking to resurrect the Vulca Dominion in a new, even more terrifying form. He had uncovered ancient technology on a forgotten world, a weapon capable of harnessing the energy of entire stars to power a fleet.